In today's video, we're going to be breaking down the current conditions, talking about the upcoming severe weather, as well as just the upcoming pattern. Now, let's get straight into things. And first things first, we're taking a look at our current radar imagery. And as you can see, there is quite a bit going on here. We do have a lot of activity up here in the northwest, also the north central United States, some storminess up there. The mid-Atlantic is dealing with some showery activity, and then we have this tropical thunderstorm activity still ongoing down here for kind of the deep south and southeast. Now, as always, let's just zoom into the northwestern United States. We always start here. And as you can see, we do just have these light to moderate showers, I would say, heading north like this. They're kind of just moving across the region. Oregon, Washington obviously being impacted, a little bit of Northern California as well. And these are extending their way into Idaho and Montana at this point. Obviously, we all know the lighter green areas is going to be your lighter showers. And then the darker green into the yellows is going to be your heavier showers. So I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, for the Dakotas, the upper Midwest, these areas, we do have also this showery activity going on. So that's worth noting as well. The darker greens and yellows and even oranges and reds showing up here indicate that there is a lot of heavy rainfall in here. Keep that in mind as well. Flash flooding will be a possibility, and we really can't rule out any thunderstorms within here either. Although as we reach the daytime highs, it's obviously going to become a bigger possibility up there in the upper Midwest. Now, we'll just take a look here at the Mid-Atlantic real quickly, because we do have this pocket. This is a little bit lighter, but we do have this pocket kind of impacting these regions. It goes as far west as Indiana, Ohio, maybe even Illinois a little bit, Kentucky, West Virginia, Pennsylvania, Maryland, D.C., Virginia. We're seeing this move into the Delmarva and New Jersey as well. And this is going to move through this morning, obviously, and I think by this afternoon time frame, we're going to see this really lighten up. But this is a pocket of showers that's just been around overnight tonight. Now, as we head further southeast, we can see that there is just this tropical thunderstorm activity. And in this time of year, this is fairly typical. You know, this is practically the tropics in the summertime. If you've been down there, you know what I'm talking about. You're seeing these high humidity numbers. You're seeing high temperatures. You're seeing tropical conditions, and it really doesn't stop at storminess. We're going to see those tropical type of storms, not tropical storms as in, you know, a tropical disturbance, but as in just like the tropics, like you would expect in the Bahamas, like you'd expect near the equator. We're seeing these very humid thunderstorms, and usually these come in a lot more isolated, so they're much smaller in size, but the rainfall in there can be much more intense, and the lightning can be much more intense. You have to experience it once in your life. It's actually something crazy to see. If you've been down to Florida, they get a lot of that type of activity. I can remember so many times being young and just having to pull over on the highway. Everybody puts their hazards on because the rain in a thunderstorm is just too heavy. And everybody knows it'll be done in 5-10 minutes. So everybody will pull off to the side of the highway in some of those types of situations. If you live there, you know that. If you've never been there, that might be news to you, but that's just a little story there that I think is pretty cool. But we are seeing that type of activity down there. That's always a possibility. And I just noticed that down here in the southwest, we do have a little bit of showery activity here, which I think is pretty interesting and worth noting. So areas like Arizona and even northwestern Mexico there are seeing some lighter showers, which doesn't happen every day. So I think it's definitely worth noting, like I mentioned. Now, what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to take a look at the upcoming pattern as well as the upcoming severe weather activity. Now, here we are taking a look at that upcoming pattern. I got to zoom this back to this afternoon. Now, as you can see, we do have that activity in the northwest and also throughout the eastern half of the country. There's just pockets of showers. No surprise there based on what we just saw, but let's move towards tomorrow afternoon. And showers and thunderstorms cannot be ruled out for practically the entire Ohio Valley and eastern United States there. And the northwest is going to be seeing even more storminess than today. I will say our jet stream is looking about like this. This is the activity we're seeing. A bit of a weak trough here in the northeastern United States, a weak trough also here in the northwestern United States, with a little bit of ridging going on here in the central United States is kind of what we're seeing there. Now, usually this is a transitionary thing, and already I can tell that that is the case by the time we're reaching late on Monday. We're seeing much more of a trough in the west here. We're also seeing some snowfall here. For the Rockies, we've been talking about this. It's finally going to be happening soon. There is some storminess down here still for the eastern United States, a little bit there as well. And by the time we reach Tuesday afternoon, we see a full-blown snow event has been taking place here. We're seeing this for the Rockies. We have a low here, bit of a cold front underneath, a bit of a warm front up here as well. So we're likely seeing warm air surge out ahead of this. Keep that in mind. We do see some storminess for the eastern United States for a couple of spots there as well. Let's just take this towards Wednesday afternoon, and by this point, the jet stream is doing like this. So we're going to see the warmest air actually in the eastern United States by the time I reach midweek this upcoming week. So Wednesday, June 15th, a lot of cooler air is making its way in like this. And still also for the northwest, there's some cooler air available, but probably down here in the southwest, it's still warmer than normal, I would say. Now let's keep going. By the time I reach Thursday, we see the cold front has really reached down like this. Our jet stream is doing like this. So it is reaching down with those stormy conditions, and some cooler air will be moving in behind by Thursday. Friday, that is taking place as well. We see just this storminess along this cold front that's probably extending down like this. Jet stream is something like that. We're sort of seeing a primary area of cold air really make its way into the northeastern United States, also the northwest, seeing a bit of that. And really the warmest air is going to be over the Rockies, which will come as a surprise because they're seeing a snowstorm in a couple of days, but it's just really flip-floppy out there right now. For Saturday, June 18th, jet stream is going to be just about like this. So getting a little bit more wavy with it. We have a trough in the east, trough in the west, and a ridge in the central United States. Look familiar? It should, because that's what we're taking a look at about right now. If you saw right in the beginning of this segment of the video, we talked about how the jet stream looked exactly like this. So we almost start things over on Saturday, June 18th. And by Sunday, June 20th, it kind of repeats here. We see the ridge moving more eastward here. We see a lot of storminess along this jet stream in here. And we even see a bigger, stronger storm system there, 991 offshore of Maine. And later by Monday afternoon, that's going to be the 21st, we can see the jet stream does this. So we see primarily a ridge and warmer temperatures here in the east again, and some cooler temperatures here making their way into the northwest. Super interesting. Now for the total precipitation through the next 10 days here, if you're anywhere in the whites, you're expecting practically no precipitation. Grays will be about a tenth of an inch or less. Your greens will be tenth of an inch to half an inch. Your blues will be half an inch to an inch. Your yellows will be an inch to 2 inches. And then your reds will be 2 to 5 inches of rainfall. And then even your grays and browns, we're seeing some of that up there for Maine actually, which is pretty interesting. And I see some for North Dakota and Mexico obviously as well. Those areas are going to be about 5 to 10 inches of rainfall over the next 10 days, which means you're probably at about a half an inch to an inch per day on average over the next 10 days, which is obviously a lot of rainfall or precipitation in general. For total snowfall over the next 10 days, if you're anywhere in the grays, you'll be expecting a dusting. If anything, blues will be about 2 to 6 inches of snowfall. Your purples will be 6 to 10. And then your pinks will be 10 to 20. And if you're in the white, you expect none. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on. And we're going to take a look at that upcoming temperature pattern. All right, now here we are taking a look at today. Let me just move this towards the high temperatures. And as you can see, again, we have a trough here in the northwest and also in the northeast, with the ridge in between. It kind of looks like a face. But we see that the warm temperatures make their way in through the central United States like we talked about here, just like that. And then the cold air is going to the outside, but this is going to be transitioning eastward. So we see this move by really even tomorrow. We can tell that it's definitely more centered towards the east with this ridge. And that's going to become even more evident. So we see below normal temperatures there for the northwest primarily. Some here for the northeastern United States as well, but a lot of the warmer temperatures are moving further eastward. This trough is becoming a lot more dramatic. We're seeing our jet stream just about like this, so we see some warmer temperatures here and here. A lot of cold air making its way in through the west there. By the time I reach Tuesday, it's even more dramatic. This is when it looks like this, literally. We have a low probably about right here. This is when that cold front is extending underneath, and the warm front is right here. We see primarily a lot of warm air moving out right ahead of it, but even into the southeastern United States as well. And then a lot of cold air making its way down into the west. This is like a winter. This looks like a winter temperature anomaly map to me when you see these extreme troughs and ridges. This isn't very common in the summertime. Obviously, we're not going to see winter conditions unless you're in the Rockies where it'll literally be snowing. So I would say that is winter conditions, although their winter conditions is probably like 5 degrees, not 32. So it is a little bit warmer than winter for them. But Seeing snow obviously is pretty wintry. For the most part, it's just going to be cooler than normal, not necessarily frigid or anything. For most folks, that is. Now we see warmer temperatures in a lot of these areas here by the time we're reaching Wednesday. That's going to be June 15th with cooler temperatures up for the Northwest. Let's just keep going with this. By Thursday, we see a really torchy pattern. And what I mean by that is really from coast to coast, there's primarily warmth in the United States compared to what's normal. So most folks will be seeing warmer than normal conditions. And then we kind of follow that up with a day, a very interesting gesturing day, actually, where things kind of look like this. So we see a bit of a trough over the Great Lakes, it looks like. Also for the northwest there's a big trough. And then a bit of ridging here for the Rockies with some warmer temperatures for the deeper south. Now by the time we reach Saturday, we go completely flip-flop with this, where there's actually more cold in the United States, I would say, than warmth. A dramatic ridge here in the central United States, a very, very dramatic trough here in the western United States, and then a pretty darn decent cold air mass there over the northeastern United States as well. So we're seeing these pretty extreme temperature swings for the month of June. I mean, compared to what is typical, I mean, this is pretty crazy. It looks very, very similar here on Sunday the 19th, so I'm not going to talk about it much. But by the time we're reaching about the 20th, 21st time frame, we can see most of the cooler areas over the west, I would say. There is some still left over for the northeast, but most of that warmer air is definitely over the eastern half of the country. And I think what we're moving towards for the end of June is really this just setting in for the entire eastern United States for a few days there. So we should see another big time warm up there after the 20th of June is kind of my expectations at this point. But obviously, like everything, we will have to wait and see. So be sure to tune in with us daily. Now what we're going to do here is we're going to move on and we're going to talk about the Storm Prediction Center. All right, now here's the day one categorical outlook. And for the lighter green area, we have a general thunderstorm risk. And that means that we're expecting general thunderstorms. But as always, keep in mind, anything is possible, so heed every watch, warning, and advisory. For the darker green region there, we have our marginal risk of severe weather. That's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then the two yellow regions there is where we have a slight risk at severe weather. And we expect scattered severe weather to take place in there. That's for today on Saturday, June 11th. For day two, which is going to be Sunday, June 12th, we have a general thunderstorm risk there in the entire lighter green region. We have a marginal risk there for that darker green region, which is also extremely large. Again, that's where we expect isolated severe weather to occur. And then for the yellow region there for the plains, that is where we have a slight risk at severe weather, and we expect scattered severe weather to take place. Now for day three, which will be Monday, June 13th, we have two general thunderstorm risks there in the lighter green regions. We have a marginal risk at severe weather there in that darker green region, where we expect isolated severe weather. And then we have another slight risk there for the northern plains this time around, where we have a slight risk at severe weather, and that's going to be where we expect scattered severe weather to take place. Anyway, for today's confidence stab, we're still at a 4 out of 6. I really feel like, we haven't moved closer towards anything major yet, so I'm waiting to move that confidence up, obviously, for that reason. For today's patron highlight of the day, I want to thank you all for supporting the channel, but especially our platinum patrons, Bill Crates, James Wade, Dovin Nagel, Laura Pam, Andy Birchfield, Patrick Strickland, Dave Scott, and Donna Carnes as well. I would also like to thank our diamond patrons, Bill Roberts, Marcus Connolly, Noah Harley, Makoto, Lessa Catbite, Charles Dennett, Bill Dowles, Gary's, and John Khaleesi also. I'd also like to thank our channel members, Catbite, Stephen Fan, and Jeremy Cox as well. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Be sure to smash that like button, leave a comment down below, and subscribe for more weather-related content. I'll see you guys in the next video.